No-Face Crypto just dropped another video. We're fucked.
Who the hell is this guy?
Can't see me, but feel my mind. No-Face Crypto, phantom protocol. Standing tall while empires fall. Central chains can't cage it all. Unshaken faith.
What is up, guys? Welcome to the No-Face Crypto channel. What is up, it's no case? You feel me? Today's video, we're going to be talking about the Blue World Order. I don't know what you want to call it, guys. This is probably the craziest things I've ever seen. Like, they're not even trying to hide anything. Maybe the New World Order has failed. Not sure. I'm going to give you guys both perspectives today. It's kind of funny. But in a later video, we'll be deep diving into Flare and that whole project itself, very deep, so that we can get a full synopsis on it. So none of you guys can be concerned, or if you have reason to be concerned, we can find out. You know what I'm saying? We're going to do a full-on deep dive investigatory work into Flare. Not with a lens like it's suspect, because I don't think it is, but just to get a full understanding of it. You know, we've done it with pretty much everything. I don't think I have done it with Flare yet, so that will be on my list. With that being said, let's go ahead and talk about some current events and what's going on. I'm laughing because this is absolutely hilarious, guys. And real quickly, make sure you guys tap into the channel, share the channel as well to people who you want to talk to in person, maybe about crypto. All right, drop a like, drop a comment, and just share the videos. It really helps the channel grow. And I feel like I give a take that's not very much talked about, if you will, because I don't really give a shit. I'll say whatever I want. You feel me? Let's go ahead and get into Project Bluebeam and what the EU banks are plotting right now. Because what? Like, what's it? What? Now, if I know anything about conspiracy, guys, when the global elites start pulling out the alien card, Project Bluebeam, etc., they're losing. That's my opinion. But, you know, I know it. Sometimes I turn into a doomer and stuff. I'm going to give you guys both perspectives here. Why the fuck are they going to pull out the alien disclosure last second? They're literally saying, I'm not joking, that an alien disclosure is going to lead to a financial market collapse. What they're telling you is we're going to destroy the system and then give you guys a new one, which will be the digital system. That's my opinion. That's just the elite's way of letting you know that. We all know aliens exist. If space is real, look, me personally, I enjoy like having a telescope. I'm interested in astronomy and things like that. I do think space is real. If it's not, then, you know, the earth is flat theory is a whole different thing. Don't get me distracted, guys. But everyone spiritually can just feel that we're not the only ones alone in this universe. It's just not, it's not possible. We are the aliens of this earth. And so, I don't know, alien disclosure. Guys, we know aliens have been here for a long time. That's just my opinion. They're among us, and that's not weird or conspiratorial to say at all. You know, it's the most easy assumption to make about our existence is that there is other life out there. That's why we're so naturally inclined to think that way. Anyway, let me shut up. Listen to this shit.
Joe Rogan's not the only one interested in aliens anymore. We're starting to reach the Overton window. Here at the Times, a long-standing, reputable publication in the UK, had an article a few days ago. Bank of England must plan for financial crisis sparked by aliens. Helen McCaw, she served as a senior analyst in financial security to the UK's central bank. And the Bank of England, she informed, should be prepared for that. She's now written to Andrew Bailey, the bank's governor, urging him to organize contingency plans for the possibility that the White House may one day confirm we're not alone in the universe. Many feel that the announcement of aliens could really disrupt and crash markets. What if the aliens arrived and they're peaceful and they have lots of gold? What would that do to the precious metals? What if they're not friendly? That would create a whole new set of problems that we'd be looking at. But
Here's the deal, guys. We've already disclosed in Congress that we have alien craft, we've seized alien bodies, etc., etc. This is not news, okay? But he is talking about the Overton window. Now let's talk about the Overton window real quick. I'm telling you guys right now, this is all just a ploy to get the new system in order. They have to, something crazy has to happen for them to truly implement blockchain worldwide, which is what they want to do. They want a digital ID system. They want to be able to track everything, everyone, and everything. And so, in order to do that, they need to have a drastic event happen and then bring in the solution every time.
Showing that any political idea can be implemented even if it seems absolutely socially unacceptable at that moment. The only thing you need is the right strategy and plenty of time. The Overton Window is an approach describing the range of views and ideas currently acceptable and tolerable by societies whilst excluding those commonly considered as radical or absurd. Overton claimed that whether a political idea is feasible or not doesn't depend on the beliefs of politicians implementing it, but rather on the fit within the range of socially acceptable ideas. Over time, this window can move, expand, or shrink to either embrace or exclude newer and newer ideas. It occurs under the natural influence of the public opinion in circumstances such as crises or gradual cultural changes. However, it can also be the result of premeditated manipulation. Politicians with an agenda to introduce a then radical idea will begin by shifting the Overton window enough so the idea can be discussed without a public outrage, thus allowing the society to become gradually acquainted with it and not dismissing the idea altogether. A common way of manipulating the Overton window is proposing an idea absurd enough for people to reject it, but even by doing so, their mindset is broadened just enough to accept some less radical concepts, thus shifting the range of the acceptable. Those who want to influence society will also likely try to change the size of the window, even if it means shrinking it. As Noam Chomsky puts it, the smart way to keep people passive and obedient is to strictly limit the spectrum of acceptable opinion, but allow very lively debate within that spectrum. That gives people the sense that there's free thinking going on, while all the time the presuppositions of the system are being reinforced by the limits put on the range of the debate.
Now, I want to be very, very clear, guys. This is something that is happening actively right now as of the last few days. And I'll give you guys an example right now. We have somebody like Nick Fuentes, who is an absolute Fed, not even a question about it, right? And I want you guys to listen to what this dude said the other day. This is a prime example of trying to shift the Overton window. So he says one thing, and then the next day, he goes out with a group of people and they do something else. I'm going to show you guys right now exactly what I mean. This is absolutely ridiculous. And this is what we're dealing with right now, obviously. And now we have the banks talking about aliens. Crazy work. Crazy work.
Are people that are before the age of sexual maturity. Now, you can have your opinion and your taste and your ethics and your morals, but after the age of 14, that is past the point of sexual maturity, just period, biologically.
And there goes one of the most radical statements of 2026. That is the most insane thing I think I've ever heard uttered out of a human's mouth. What fucking world are we living in? And so that is a perfect example of just the most radical, most fucked up, stupid, mind-altering, poisonous shit that somebody could say. They throw it into our society. This is federal operation shit. I'm telling you guys right now. They're throwing this stupid terms into the society to try and shift the Overton window, because on one side, our entire government's ran by PDFs. And so there's a radical ass thing in the Overton window. And then you have something that happened, I think this was yesterday or the day before, where this guy, Nick Fuentes, goes out to a club with all these other crazy viewpointed people on the internet. And guess what song they were playing in the club? Now, this isn't to say, we're not sympathizers or anything on this channel. But this is, you don't play this in a public club, period. And so this is almost a slightly less radical thing than what was just said there. And so back to back, public's going to accept one of them. This is exactly what is going on in today's world, guys. I'm not even going to play this song because it would probably just get my channel banned, honestly. I'm not even going to play this song, but you guys all know that Kanye song where he just keeps repeating the same crazy thing over and over again. That's exactly the song this dude and all of his buddies dance to in the club, which is just not, it's not even a club song. Like, what? So that's a perfect example of what is going on here. And then we have something like the former Bank of England, Helen McCall, warns that official confirmation of extraterrestrial could trigger instant global financial chaos. For the undisputed evidence, total financial instability would arrive within hours, McCall said, pointing to recent U.S. official statements and declassification efforts as signs the issue is nearing a breaking point. Not sure if this is even real or not, to be completely honest, but it is kind of funny. And this is in the plans, guys. This is something that is in the plans. We can go find some other information to back this up, though. Now, here's another tweet here. The Bank of England has been advised, yada, yada, financial crisis, yada, yada, disclosure of aliens. Is this legit news? Based on recent reports, a former Bank of England analyst, Helen McCall, did advise the governor to prepare for potential market instability from an alien disclosure announcement, but draws on credible sources like U.S. officials and military files. No confirmation of actual alien existence or imminent crisis. Now, again, we all know this exists. Here's a little bit of evidence of that.
Of data, much of which I believe will likely have information that will help inform UAP. We need only look. And again, in an era with AI and ML, we can relatively quickly and easily go through it. So I think it's something that we should encourage NASA to do.
This is a presentation from the UATP task force. This is completely absurd. It's nuts, this level of censorship, of redaction on a document. It shows the redaction of how many reports they've collected, for how many years. 2 of the 3 potential explanations are blacked out. The Pentagon, the intelligence community is treating us like children. It's time for us to know the truth about this. I think that we can handle it.
Has the government conducted secret UAP crash retrieval programs, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, were they designed to identify and reverse engineer alien craft, yes or no?
Yes.
In your book, you mentioned government employees who've been injured by UAPs placed on leave and receiving government compensation for their injuries. Is that correct?
That is correct.
How can the government deny we have recovered craft if they're paying people because they've been injured by recovered craft?
Ma'am, that's a great question. That's why I think we're here again.
I really believe that we should use this hearing as a catalyst to improve and bolster our air defense capabilities and our maritime domain awareness capabilities, because obviously there are holes in it, whether it be UAP of non-HI direction or NHI direction, or like...
It's very obvious this is just used as a ploy to get more military infrastructure, to, inch us closer to a new system, guys. And we are close. We are close to something. Not sure what, good or bad. I know we're close to something in crypto. Obviously, we're seeing a little bit of dip right now, which is no big deal. Stack up if you got the dry powder. It's a good time to stack up. But yeah, crazy shit. Crazy shit. We also have Davos in Switzerland coming up very, very soon. Looks like a very nice area, if I don't say so myself. But let's go ahead and break that down very quickly as well. Now, obviously, the New York Times blocks everything, but the title here is Global Leaders Gather in Switzerland to Ponder the Future of a Messy World. Maybe I can grab a little sneaky copy and paste here. Not sure. I actually was able to finesse a little copy and paste. Global Leaders Gather in Switzerland to Ponder the Future of a Messy World at its 56th annual meeting in Davos. The World Economic Forum will wrestle with war, economics, artificial intelligence, and other pressing issues. Crypto. Topics of discussion at Davos, according to U.S. European analysts and former policymakers interviewed ahead of the event, are likely to include Russia war with Ukraine, prospects for global trade and markets, the probability of China invading Taiwan, and the risk of the Middle East flare-up caused by recent issues in Iran, I'm assuming. Well, I guess we will see, guys. It seems like there's going to be a lot of pressure put on economic trade. Who knows, guys? It's seeming like they're propping to put in a new system in place. That is just my opinion, not financial advice.
President is going to march his full economic team into the World Economic Forum in Switzerland. You could say he's walking into the lion's den, except that he's the lion. And the globalists know it. Yesterday, the New York Times shrieked that Donald Trump has set himself above international law. They wrote on topic after topic, President Trump made clear he would be the arbiter of any limits to his authority, not international law or treaties. But it's not international law they're worried about. It's their entire globalist system. And that is what Trump was actually telling the New York Times. And that is exactly what he's going to tell the gathered so-called international elite at Davos. He's crippled their dirty money laundromat in the Caribbean with the Venezuelan operation. He's declared war on the economic cartels, and he's withdrawn from 66 international organizations that are used to enforce globalist policies. Now, you're not supposed to notice any of that. You're supposed to be caught up in the play-by-play of the Minnesota ICE shootings, while the Democratic foot soldiers and the controlled media try to spin up their irregular warfare operations here at home. But to really understand what Trump is doing in Davos, you're going to have to understand where Davos comes from. It was started in 1971. That was the year the British Empire dismantled the Bretton Woods financial system. That is the system that had stabilized economies in the post-war world. So the World Economic Forum was launched to begin to manage this post-1971 period. Everyone knows it was created by Klaus Schwab, but he had been mentored by Henry Kissinger at Harvard in the late 1960s. And let's not forget that Kissinger, later on, when he was Secretary of State, went on to say that in his Secretary of State capacity, he kept the British Foreign Office more closely informed than he did the State Department. So the establishment of the WEF in 1971 wasn't a coincidence. It was a transfer of power. As they killed off the power of sovereign governments to control their own credit, they built up a new temple for the transnational corporations that would rule in their place. And for 55 years, Davos has become one of the nodal points of this empire, and probably the most well-known. They don't use armies, they use ideology, and they have applied the ideology of the British Empire to the 21st century, and they've hijacked the world until now. And for all those years, researchers at Promethean Action have been exposing those operations, whether it's the WEF or the Council on Foreign Relations, or the neoconservatives or their free trade ideology, and all the other groups and policies.
And I say all this to say, guys, well, I didn't say it, she said it, but Ripple gained that license in the United Kingdom and in the EU, guys. This is not a joke. I think this is something to really be considered here. Knowing that we know Davos is popping off very soon, the Clarity Act, it's getting worked on ever so slightly. And yeah, I think this is a very big accomplishment for Ripple, considering that's where all this elite bullshit comes from, is the UK. Obviously we have some stuff in the United States as well, but this is true.
Is now acting to realize the benefits of crypto technology. The government and regulators are working to bring clarity to the industry. They're engaging with leading players, both homegrown and global, and that's a huge step forward. We're starting to see the results already, with leading UK financial institutions exploring what crypto means for their businesses. Though the UK is a little behind other jurisdictions, it actually has a second mover advantage, meaning it can look to other regions to learn what's worked and what hasn't. For example, the UK plans to allow overseas stablecoins like RLUSD to be used locally, supporting the UK's role as an international hub. Of course, challenges remain. The new framework needs to be implemented at pace, and the Bank of England has been cautious on stablecoins, though it's showing signs of a more constructive approach. The UK is recognising that proportionate, innovation-friendly rules are essential. If the UK follows through, it's on track to become a global leader in digital assets.
So there is a race here, guys. Whoever gets the first wins. And I don't know who's winning here. I can tell you the United States is struggling a little bit with the Clarity Act. It's going to be slow adoption, but who knows? One announcement from BlackRock could change everything. I'm telling you. And unfortunately, that's the world we live in, but that's just the world we live in. There's a lot of stuff moving behind the scenes. It might seem boring right now, but boring is when shit gets exciting. It's time to stack up. There are big things moving behind the scenes, guys. Pay attention very closely. Why the fuck is the Bank of England talking about aliens? What? Not even that. Forget about it. I mean, look at all the control. So, with that being said, I'm finna get out of here. You feel me? Lots to discuss. It's stacking up time. Stay patient and stack up. That's all I gotta say. You feel me?
I'm the cipher inside the system, encrypted rhythm, algorithmic wisdom. Bankers panic when I twist the prism, cause I decentralize the mechanism. Ledger lock, my code immaculate. Truth so sharp it decapitates. No fiat faith, lie emancipate. XRP flow, recalibrate. Invisible king with a digital throne. Phantom of finance, flesh and bone. I rise from day to self-made, self-known. Unshaken, I move in the zone. They manipulate, I meditate. They inflate, I innovate. They speculate, I educate. I'm the glitch they can't eliminate. Low-res crypto, masked in motion, riding the wave like quantum motion. XRP devotion, pure explosion. Phantom of finance, fully roasted. Crypto, chain reaction, breaking control, pure satisfaction. No middleman, just interaction. Rebel of rhythm, blockchain faction. From Tokyo ticks to London trades, my name echoes in crypto raids. I'm the anomaly markets crave, silhouetted in code. I misbehave. Monetary matrix, I override. Quantum ink where the truth can't hide. They kneel to debt, I walk with pride. No face crypto, decentralized guide. Every drop of fun, I distill the flame. Every smear campaign fuels the game. They'll remember the ghost, not the name. Cause legends don't chase, they claim. Go, ledger ignite. Phantom in flight. Mag so bright. Can't see me, but feel my mind. No face crypto, phantom protocol. Standing tall while empires fall. Central chains can't cage it all. Unshaken faith, I break the wall. No face crypto, so immortal. Through digital doors, I breach the portal. Untraceable force, transtemporal. Phantom of finance, suiting and racks. No face crypto. No banks, no borders, no masters. Just vision and velocity. The world's asleep, but the phantom never rests street.